Last we left off, the party decided to head off for one of their first official bounties as a team, after dealing with quite the harrowing experience of a dream that may or may not have been a dream. Perhaps it was an attempt at settling one unfortunate misadventure with one they could actually have control over, or maybe it was just a distraction. After procuring a map and some of them requiring extra supplies for possible resources to work with should they be out and about too long, they decided to head to the docks that connect to Askatla 3 days away by boat. They had secured a vessel under the helm of the jovial Captain Jax and his first mate, and
See, even you can't stop laughing. Don't ask us.
and his first mate, an elven sailor called Rosahi. After settling any affairs that needed to be settled, the group headed off to the more northern parts of the continent in order to complete a job listed in Voltiac's Light. Enjoying a voyage undisturbed along the Sea of Swords, they arrived at the City of Waterdeep in their venture towards the Desserin Valley. Currently, you've all stepped off of the ship after Captain Jax, Rosahi, and Vargan have seemingly gone off to enjoy their earned coin at a local tavern or similar type of establishment. The city is hustling and bustling, humans of various tones aiding a number of dwarves and halflings in their daily lives. You watch a gaggle of individuals walk by as one halfling on the shoulders of an armored human is proudly telling what sounds to be a story of some kind that you can't quite catch all the words to, while a couple of dwarves walk in the opposite direction as them with swords at their hips where their hands are kept in an almost defensive manner before turning down a street further into the city. Welcome to the City of Splendors, a place of commerce and communion for various races and backgrounds. What do you all do?
I immediately start looking for a place to pick up some booze.
Okay.
Lucera is going to motion to everybody. Make sure you know where your purse is.
Duly noted. Is this sound off the note for?
Let's just say you need to keep an eye on your coin purse. And not ask questions.
I would like you, Niminue, to roll investigation. Not a very hard DC, it's Waterdeep, but go ahead anyway.
Well then.
Ooh, my days after. Nice start.
Wrong channel, but okay.
Let it fly.
It's fine. That was a nat 20, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So tell me this: what type of place are you looking for? Just any sort that has
like
ale, or
a mixture of an inn and a tavern.
Okay. So you're looking for a place to stay that doubles as a place to get ale.
Exactly.
Great. You rolled a fucking natural 20. I actually have to. Alright, okay. It's fine. I was busy taking notes on the things that you were doing, and then I was just like, wait, did you roll a natural 20? Because I just got the, it's, every time you guys roll a natural 1 or a natural 20, like, there's a fucking sensor that goes off in the back of my head. It's just like, is something I'm going to have to describe happen? The thing.
Well, we did just get into town. It's only natural to find a place to stay that also provides ale and food.
I don't know what I'm really expecting, to be absolutely honest with you. I'm not going in the accent. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can't. like I said, I thought I was okay. Where's all my notes on the actual places? Damn it, just give me a second.
Problems.
I had everything, and then I didn't. My apologies.
I had everything, and then nothing.
Shush. You can't say anything.
Yes, I
We can say everything.
So where do I find or the place?
I think that's what's currently being looked up.
It is.
Shit.
I in the meantime,
kid you not, I have 4 documents for you motherfuckers, and I didn't have the one up that I needed for this.
That sounds like a you problem.
so I guess in the meantime, after hearing Lethera's warning, Natalie's going to summon Russet to her shoulder, whisper a little something to him, and he'll find his way into the coin pouch at her side, sticking his head out.
I love that. I love you. I just realized the terribleness of the name of this tavern. Oh no, you guys are gonna make fun of me.
Okay.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
No.
Did you finally find out the stupid that is Waterdeep?
No. There's a couple of places that are of my own design that have a higher DC, and you rolled a natural 20. So.
Go on, it can't be that bad.
You did that to yourself, man.
One of them is called the Winged Bull. You can realize where that was terrible, but that's not the one that you have here.
Oh no, what's the terrible one? Or was that the terrible one?
I hate it. I'm so sorry.
Don't lie. You did this to yourself.
No, it's worse because all I can think of is this is the direct opposite to Serpent's Rest, but that's.
Oh no.
That's a different story. Diminue. Leaving your party for a few moments to ask about the best tavern that is available in the city. You get a couple of different answers from the people that are around. There seems to be a bit of a difference of opinion on which is the best based on personal preference. But you come to the conclusion based on a number of people giving you the same answer as you ask this, that there is one deeper within the city in the Ward of Swords, I think it is. Oh, I should keep better track of the wards in this fucking place. But it's a ward deeper in the city, and there is a fairly nice tavern that has the deceptive name of the Drunken Wyvern, run by a half-elf that you don't get the name of, but apparently is one of an interesting sort of person for their kind. That you'd be looking to go over there for a place to get a good drink for a bit of a higher price.
I walk back to the group and go, well, I found a place to stay while we're here. It's called the Drunken Wyvern.
We'll be staying at another tavern? suppose it might be as good as any.
What are you guys doing? You're still at the docks currently. And anyway, stepped away for a bit to ask those questions.
I just figured the tavern would make a decent base for us to base out of until we find these wyverns,
Are there any preparations we need to make before setting off?
Would you prefer to get a cart or not?
Right. Sorry, I forgot.
While we're here, we should also, gather some info around town to find out where exactly this nest is. We got to take care of the wyverns.
That is also true.
And anything we could find out on groups that might have been there before might help.
Yeah, so like I said, having a base here to fall back to until we get what we need would be a good idea.
So, tell me what you guys are doing.
Well, it couldn't hurt to check out the place that Nimue just found.
By the way, correction, Castle Ward, because I'm bad at remembering things.
Ah.
Well, I start leading the group over to the tavern.
All right, so you all head away from the docks, notably in the opposite direction as your captain had. I'm not saying his fucking name again.
You couldn't say his name the first time you said it without giggling.
Yeah.
Because of you guys.
On the
It's fine until you made the joke.
I'm innocent.
Natalie did leave their crew with some, ape workers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
True.
That did happen.
It did. They did seem thankful of it. They did seem thankful of it, but you head in the opposite direction of the captain and his first mate and head of security, it seems, on the ship. And you walk about 20 minutes, and it's getting a bit harder to walk through here because you're in the docks ward. And it's heavily where the trade ward and the docks ward have a lot of communication and a lot of people moving in and out. But since you're heading towards the castle ward where the Drunken Wyvern is situated, you find it's a bit shiftier. For a place called the castle ward, you would expect a bit more classiness, but it seems both more busy and more shifty at best. You can easily, without having to roll for it, can easily see that there are multiple people that always cast a glance out of the corner of their eye, either towards you or to somebody else. Most people have a hand near their hip or wherever you would assume that their coin purse is. So you're assuming that Lucera definitely has some experience with this city, or at the very least knows how it works around here. And, okay. That was a garbage roll.
Uh-oh.
Natalie pets Russ's head on the way.
Yay, Russet.
What's all of you guys' passive perception?
19.
18.
Let's see.
What was yours? Nothing.
Mine is less than Russet's, and let's see, mine is a 14, I believe. Yeah, and Russet's is a 13 with advantage on hearing or smell. So +5 or 18 in
Nimue?
those cases.
I mean, it's not hard. I rolled. I'm pretty sure even the cleric have for this.
Problems?
I rolled pretty low.
Problems.
Oh no,
Not
she
sure
wouldn't
what that
actually be able to hear that. Yeah, your perception is probably like 12. Because you don't seem to have anything for perception to add into it. Because for perception, it's 10 plus proficiency plus perception, right? If you have proficiency in perception?
Is it?
The green, I believe, is proficiency, so add a white now.
Profession.
Yeah, so it's just 10 for Nimue.
Well, that's not good. So, Natalie, Russet, Lysera,
I try and do an active
No, this is if you do active perception, that means you're actively trying to perceive something. This is just something that's happening. So that's passive. Everyone except Ryan and Nimue, you will hear a commotion, some distance behind and to the right of you. And it sounds like either a bunch of guards are hassling someone or there's a bunch of adventurers getting into a fight.
Lysera rolls her eyes and keeps walking.
I keep following with since, I can't hear the thing.
To you, it's just normal city bustle. Fair enough. Ryan doesn't even spare a glance.
Natalie follows Lysera's lead, but Russet sneaks off to take a look.
Here we go.
Cole, actually, because of your passive perception,
Yeah?
you hear a voice briefly, just for a split second. It's like, my bad, coming through. And it's coming closer to you. What are you doing?
So is it a familiar voice?
Yes. To you, it is familiar.
You! Cole pauses a moment and then just... If I don't acknowledge it won't see me.
So all of you watch Cole just freeze.
Cole has failed the vibe check.
Totally alright.
I'm going to stop walking and take Cole's hand and lightly tug, in a concerned manner. What you stepping there for, Come on, Cole, this way.
Cole internally please don't use my name, but Cole externally is yes, okay, I'm sorry. I thought I heard something.
At this point, all of you can hear really fast footsteps approaching you from behind.
Oh,
no. A
no.
little bit to the right.
So what is Russet seeing right now?
Russet currently about 110 feet away is seeing a wood elf running at full speed down the street with a bag in hand and hood pulled over his face. But it is definitely a male, and is running in the direction of the party.
Running or sprinting?
Sprinting is a good word.
Oh, good.
All right. Natalie's going to tap Lethera's shoulder, turn around, and point at the guy as he's running.
Hood completely shields everything from the eyes back, and you can only see down from the nose.
I believe that's the one that was loud earlier. And he's coming straight for us. What do we do?
As you look to turn towards him, he's a little bit away from you, and he seems to be darting in the direction that you're going, rather than straight towards you.
Okay.
Let him pass by.
Don't pay them any mind.
All right.
I'd hate to get between a thief and whatever prize he might have stole.
It's just bad business.
It really is.
Okay.
Cole, or actually any of you, are you actively trying to hide yourself in the crowd, or are you just going along with your day?
This Farah is generally still with her hood over her face because nah, fuck all of you.
I'll probably have a hood over my head too, just
Cole.
because, to keep the ears warm.
Cole doesn't really have anything to hide himself with.
Regretting your choice of duster now, are you, sir?
He is.
A little bit.
She's regretting the choice. Wait, hold on. I have to send this to Ryan.
No, don't send me anything. Don't send me anything.
Much regret.
Why not?
Don't send me anything, because I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done? Okay, I'm not sending you anything then.
As you all continue on your, I'm assuming just a walk towards the tavern. It's not like moving quickly or anything.
Yeah, just...
We're not now.
As you're leisurely walking in that direction, the footsteps approach much faster, and they seem a little bit too light to be any sort of like wizard or barbarian or stuff like that. It seems too light, like hitting every other breath on the stone, lining the streets, and just approaches you. It seems to be right next to you and then darts by, at which point all of you can see the elven individual with, like, for a brief second, you would be able to see slightly scarred up, pale face, a slightly long black hair with beads and braids in it, and daggers and a quiver of arrows with no bow, just the arrows, darting past with what looks like a coin purse, and running by without paying any mind to you.
Natalie reaches down to check her own.
Still there.
Just to be... Okay, good.
After a few seconds of running by, the figure stops.
Sarah lets out a long sigh.
And pauses there for a moment. You're seeing the back of the figure, and you can you see the head tilt for a second, and they look over their shoulder at specifically you five now. You can't see their face, but then they look forward again and keep running.
Right as he would have looked at me, I would have instinctively grabbed for my coin purse and clutched it tight.
About 60, 70 feet of running for this individual, and you watch as they stop in front of a doorway to what looks to be another inn or much more localized or family-run kind of tavern that looks homey and cozy. I would suppose it's the easiest way to describe it from the outside. And standing in front there is a very finely dressed tiefling with short curled horns that curl towards front, and a
Someone's dying.
long belated tail, has red brown skin and silvery eyes that look silver in the light, but as you squint, they're more of a pale gold. And this figure is definitely more feminine, and she's standing there with her arms crossed, and briefly you can see ticks from this far away of her tail hitting the ground in a bit of annoyance. And you can see them talking, and the hooded figure has the posture of someone apologizing, with a hand in the back of their hood and rubbing it and offering out the coin purse, at which point the tiefling pushes off the wall, takes it, says something in definitely not a nice way of saying it just by her posture alone, and then heads inside. And for another second, you see that person look towards your group again, still knowing that you're there, and just stands there for a solid minute before walking inside that inn.
I'm going to tug nervously. On Cole's hand and be half stage whisper. Something strange about them. I don't know why they are.
Roll stealth for me. For Russet.
Oh, the one I rolled earlier was 20. Do I get to roll again?
Yes, because you're continuing to do that.
That's fair. Whoop. 16.
Okay. Don't worry.
About those good rolls earlier?
Oh no, I just can't roll for this character, apparently.
Law of averages.
Actually, what did you roll?
16.
I rolled a 17.
Ooh.
That's pretty low for this character. Josh knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
That's pretty low. So Rusted would actually be able to hear tidbits of the conversation, yeah?
With a passive 18, or wait, what's passive one? Yeah, the passive 18, hopefully. Or should I roll percent?
So actually, with that in mind, now that you sent me that, you actually watched as there was a bit of conversation. You all saw Russet get picked up and gently moved away with what looks to be a mage hand of sorts, and just choo kind of gesture. But
yes, good.
Russet actually heard bits and pieces of a back and forth. Definitely kept hush, even if they're in broad daylight and no one's paying direct attention to them. And it's a back and forth of, "You're back finally. What took you so long? I got in a bit of a hustle with somebody. Would you stop trying to steal from people? We're not here for that. I'm sorry, I really am. I got the money, though. I got our job done." At that point, there's stealing, and then Russet is shoved off. They both have a bit of a roughness to their voice that I can't do right now because I already did a Welsh accent last night. You're not getting me to do that.
To them, Russet disappears, and to the party, Russet reappears back in Natalie's coin purse.
Up close, Russet actually would have been able to see more of the elvish features when picked up, as well as the features on the tiefling. Tiefling has a bunch of jewelry and what looks to be a pendant of sorts around her neck, and definitely seen better days, judging by the scars along her jaw. And the wood elf has kind of medium length, slightly curly black hair and deep green eyes, almost black. But they looks kind of tired. like with slight bags underneath them, and then you shoot away back to the party. And that's when they head inside and keep talking.
Mm-hmm.
You're about halfway to the Drunken Wyvern.
We were just on a ship for things I could start singing with what you just said.
Natalie doesn't really say much, just pets rested again and keeps walking with the party. A bit just as worried as...
I keep nervous.
Cole is following and movement alone. He's completely lost in his thoughts right now.
Does Lithera notice this? Of
Do you?
Cole being out of it?
You have a passive perception of 18, so I would surely hope so.
Oh, good.
So yes,
Lithera
you do see, Lithera, you do see, after that confrontation and the weirdness of a random elf stopping, looking over his shoulder, and then continuing, and Cole is now once again out of it.
Lithera sighs, looks at the rest of the party and goes, keep going. And then snags a piece of, snags the collar of Cole's coat and pulls him off the road towards an alley.
Oh shit.
Are you arguing against this, or are you trying to stop it?
No, he made that noise. He just went, oh shit.
Yoink! So both of you are pulled off the side of the main road into not so much an alley as it is a less frequented side road. There are people there, but not as many.
So,
Wait.
What in all the hells and all the dark dimensions was that?
What was what?
Don't start.
Oh, I will start.
You sure you want to trust your luck with that one?
Cool. Just for flavor, you are suddenly starkly reminded about the rings around your neck. As soon as she says, do you want to test your luck?
Luck is something I like to test a lot.
I've noticed. But I'm not one to test mine or anyone else's neck. You want to tell me before I figure out what's going on, if it's good or bad?
Oof.
It's not bad, but it's not good either.
Start talking.
That person, persons that we encountered when we were walking just then. I'm not sure if it's them, but they have a striking resemblance to, how I say, surviving members of my previous party.
Sarah is going to sigh and rub at the bridge of her nose like she does not get paid enough to deal with this bullshit.
I need both of you to roll perception.
Oh, joy.
Oh, joy.
Oh, God. Where's my sheet?
17.
$21.
Yeah, both of you see it. There is a sudden third shadow overhead above you that is attempting to meld into one of yours, but very easily. It's a little bit out of the way, only slightly.
Um, hey, Bri?
Yes.
So, can I throw a dagger?
You're welcome to.
Oh, good.
Oh, God.
Roll to attack.
Oh, God.
It's mostly she's aiming low as a warning.
Okay. I don't know if you need to roll to attack. You're trying to attack the ground, yeah? Just at the shadow?
At the shadow, well, yes.
At the part of the shadow that doesn't look natural for the rest of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For the moment.
So don't worry about rolling. You're trying to hit the fucking
attack?
ground. No. You're trying to hit the fucking ground. I didn't understand what you were trying to do.
Roll to hit ground.
You, out of instinct, take out a dagger and throw it at the ground where the shadow is slightly misproportioned for where Cole's shadow would be, for where you're standing. And you deftly hit where that strange portion is. And that part of the shadow shifts slightly as if jolting whoever's casting it, and you realize that they're above you, and when you actually look up, because they didn't move, so naturally you look up, and that same hooded figure is up there crouched down, and at this angle you can also see the tired, deep, dark green eyes, and a scar from underneath the hair down to almost the right side of his nose. And he's just staring at the both of you with his head tilted, and he's now wearing his bow.
Lythera calls up to him. So, would you like to test my aim, or are you going to come down to talk?
I don't feel really keen on coming down there now that you've thrown a dagger, so no. Not really. You're kind of threatening, miss.
Considering where I've been, that was a nice hello.
I feel like I should still be threatened, but alright. I was just a bit curious. Sorry if I'm intruding on a bit of a private moment, and both of you get the impression that he means something else. If I'm intruding, I can come back later.
Lythera smirks and goes, "It's only a private moment if you can tell me what this man is hiding."
That depends on what you're talking about. I just kind of got here.
Lythera looks back at Cole, crosses her arms over her chest, and raises an eyebrow like, well, how are you going to get out of this one?
Well, you distinctly know who this voice belongs to, and it sets a bit of a cold, unwanted feeling in your chest of, oh god.
At this,
Anyway, Natalie, if you stopped to wait for them, you're just waiting outside, and because of all the talking and the way that this person is talking, you look over and you actually do see this hooded figure knelt down over the side of a low hang of a building and just staring down into an alleyway. Presumably where they are.
Cole just has that look like, I'm gonna run.
And it's like at this point, as soon as that look is had, and Lythera, you see it at the very same moment without actually seeing Cole's face from this angle, just like the top of his head and like maybe where his eyebrows are positioned. You're just like, if that's the dude I think it is, you might want to hold him in place, miss.
Oh, he knows if I don't want him to leave, his coat will be pinned to the wall.
That figure just shrugs. He's like, that's on you. Still hasn't moved from the roof of the building.
I just go, good day for this. And I walk into the tavern and go and order
You're not close to the Drunken Wyvern. The only one that's close by is the one you saw the tiefling in this particular wood elf walk into. And it's about 70 feet away.
Yeah, we're halfway.
Well, I just keep trudging on to...
So you're not waiting for them?
Shouldn't we wait for Lithera and Cole? They don't know the way there.
Ryan, at this point, actually, because I have been rolling for her and I just haven't said anything. She looks at you, Naminia, and goes, I think we should wait because they don't know where they're going. You're the only one that does, Naminia.
I then proceed to give them the instructions on how to reach the Drunken Wyvern, and I go, I'll meet you there. I need a...
Naminia, you just watch as Ryan goes, has that expression of, fair enough. And then she looks at you, Natalie, with that expression of, well? Do you think you can handle this, Natalie? If something can get out of hand, I don't want Naminia by herself. Should she get drunk?
That's
No more arm wrestle.
No more drunk episodes. That was the DM.
That was a great episode, though.
Yeah.
That was a great
Not for
episode.
Natalie.
Yes, you stay with them anyway. I'll watch over Cole and Lithera, I guess.
Ryan puts a hand on your shoulder in the means of good luck and jogs over to Naminia and keeps pace. So you have Ryan with you, Naminia. So, back to the unfortunate situation of Cole being in hell.
Welcome to hell.
Internal Cole voice. If I just stop moving, maybe I'll die of a heart attack.
That panicked, huh? Jesus.
No, not panic. It's just maybe if I just stand extremely still.
They won't see me. Pulling a Drax?
Yes.
After about 30 seconds of silence from you, Cole, this figure positions himself to be sitting on the edge of the roof and not coming down because someone just basically threatened him with a dagger at his shadow. He's not going to come down there. It's a bit rude when he's not even doing anything. So he's just sitting up there, and now he's kicking his feet, and it's a little bit of childish looking for someone who has been trying to spy on the conversation. Just sitting there and just waiting.
You seriously have to kick your feet like that? I'm dying here.
He leans forward. Well, if it's you, and you know that I'm doing this, then kinda, yeah. I like moving my feet. It's how I do things.
I know.
So how have you been, buddy? It's been a while. Haven't heard hide nor hair about you ever since I've been trying to get in touch with you. You haven't responded to a single one of my letters, and this is how you treat me when you stop into town with a new party? I feel so offended. But Sarah, he's definitely being overdramatic.
Lithera is just going to stay exactly where she is, still with her arms crossed, watching Cole as if daring him to try and run from her.
She still looks tempted.
Lithera, Cole, and this person, you all see Russet try and sneak up to you guys. And that's just a glowing ferret in a slightly dark alleyway, slightly dark side street, and there's just... You rolled a 10!
I know. It doesn't work well.
Lithera is going to look pointedly at Russet and then motion her head towards Cole, like, if you want to stay, you better help.
Russet appears to look between the two, and then goes up to jump on Lithera's shoulder.
Just you have a clambering ferret trying to get on top of your shoulder just clambering up your leg and not on your side, just choo 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 choo.
And then just stares at Cole.
No.
A tiny glowing ferret mimicking Lythera. Oh god.
You know, I've been
Menacingly.
alive.
Clearly, if you're here in Waterdeep.
Called out.
If you were dead and walking around, I don't think the god would have let you in.
You never know.
I've known some interesting people. It very much depends.
I hate that Lythera and Cole went to the same thing.
Great minds think alike, fools really differ. Anyway. Cole.
Yeah?
You just hear this really low, like, puff of laughter, like, you know he's trying to not laugh, trying to be serious, but you've always known he's had a hard time being serious. Unless it's absolutely necessary. I need you to roll stealth for that, too. It's a spell. It's not instant auto-crit stealth, okay?
Is it with advantage?
I guess. You are invisible.
Oh, well, it'd spoil it.
How am I spoiling it? If you roll low, it's not my problem. One of them there can see through it. What is it?
Oh, Lythera can see through it?
No, I'm not saying either of them can.
It was 13. 13, with advantage.
You are not having a good day. Yeah, even with a really low roll of 5, this dude can see you. And just, like, all of you...
You just hear footsteps that no one seems to be making. That's weird.
No, but there are boxes and doors and tapestries hanging around. So you bump into one of those, and all 3 of you see it move.
You see it move, and then you see it kind of straighten out as if someone's trying to set it back in place right.
Lythera squints, but refrains from throwing her second dagger. For the moment.
You hear a very long, drawn-out sigh from this hooded figure.
I know, right?
You keep
Don't start with this.
Interesting company, Cole. I thought we were weird, and I grew up with you. I'm pretty sure that woman's supposed to be dead, right? No offense.
None taken.
Though elves, I'm not really sure how long you live, but I'm good for a while. And he, like, winks, and this is already bad, Lythera. You can easily tell this one's an interesting sort.
Lythera tilts her head up to, like, look at him, just so that he gets a good long look at the spell scars.
He just stares at you, Lythera, and then grins. You all hear the, like, embarrassed, shy footsteps go back around the corner.
I also like to point out that I did not choose this party.
Yeah, sure. I understand what that is. Uh-huh. Didn't choose this party, my butt.
At this point, the hooded figure still hasn't drawn any weapons that you can see. Just immediately steps, like, hits the back of his feet, his heels against the side of the wall as if he's prepared to push off of it. He goes, "Should I step down? You're not going to try and put a dagger in my throat, are you?"
She won't.
Are you sure?
Lythera pointedly leans down, grabs her dagger, and puts it away.
Doesn't reassure me, because now you have one more weapon to try and attack me with, and I don't feel comfortable with that.
But you never knew how many weapons I had on me at the first place.
That's the point. I don't know. Now you have one more. It's not comfortable. I have mine on display.
Just get down here.
No,
now, why
not
would
until
I
I
ever
have.
display all of my weapons? That's just
I
being
would like
stupid.
some honesty about how much you guys are going to try and attack me just because all I did was try and spy in on your conversation. That's old news. We're in Waterdeep. That happens all the time. At least I'm not trying to steal from you.
Cole's about to be like, you know I won't. And then he just kind of pauses like, yeah, I won't.
He just gives you the longest stare, Cole. And Lucera, you watch this wood elf's happy and friendly expression dim slightly, almost as if to express doubt in Cole's words, and then goes back to normal. And then looks at you, Lucera, and goes, "You're not going to try and throw anything at me? I need absolute confirmation."
That depends entirely on you. Don't give me reason.
I don't know what your reasons are. Maybe you just want to stab somebody today. Maybe you're in a bad mood. That's happened before. I've had a lady stab me just because she was in a bad mood and I happened to be nearby, okay? Waterdeep's
Are you
fucked.
sure you didn't try flirting with her?
I was not. You know my type. Come on now. But at this point, he actually pushes off the roof and lands with an easy flourish, almost like he's posing for some unseen audience. And his head's still up, but he's a bit of a lithe individual, more built for speed and accuracy rather than brute strength or magic.
My God, we're graced by the essence of Ezio.
You always were the showboaty type.
I actually had to pause for a second, and I just went, because you're not wrong, but at the same time, you're not right.
You're welcome.
So this Ezio acting motherfucker just decided to drop off of the roof and give you company. Is this better? Are you alright? Not gonna stab me. He's like looking at you, Lucera, with that look of I don't want that. It's less like actual hesitation and more of like, you have my respect, but at the same time I fear you, lady.
Lucera just keeps her arms crossed. She doesn't put up any hostile motion as of yet. She is, however, glaring down Cole at the moment.
Cole, you, as he's still watching Lucera, you hear him say underneath the hood, "So I take it you haven't said a word about us since then, huh?" And now he looks over to you.
No, he hasn't said anything. He hasn't said a thing.
I don't think that's my story to tell, because he's really reluctant about it. Well, that's up to you. If you don't want to say anything, by all means. Emmy's kind of waiting for me. So, you know how she gets when I keep her waiting.
Yeah, I do.
She kind of got ticked off that you were in the city, though, and didn't try and come and say hello.
I didn't know you guys were in the city at first.
I tried to send you a damn letter. You keep moving too much.
Because there's always work somewhere else.
He just sighs. It's half a growl of like, "You stupid motherfucker" kind of noise from the hooded person. Hooded elf.
Cole sighs for a moment. Does she really want to see me? I feel like if I go over there, I'm going to get punched in the face.
Oh no, she's gonna deck you in the mouth.
You can get decked by her, or you can get decked by me. What is your choice?
I don't know, I've never gotten punched by you. I don't know your fist strength.
Best not test it.
You watch as one of his hands comes up and like scratches at his jaw on the same side where you see the scar, and to you, Cole, that scar is new. And he just scratches at the side of his jaw and goes, I mean, you can deal with one deck to the jaw, or you can deal with two, because it's going to happen from Emmy one way or another.
You see Cole kind of think for a moment. He's just like, fine, I'll go get punched by...
I don't suggest today. He's in a bit of a bad mood. It'd be more of a punch than anything. Like, straight up, you might get knocked out. I wouldn't.
I mean, I deserve it. But...
Lysera, I need you to roll insight. Because it just feels like one of those moments where Lysera is just like, okay, what the hell?
No, she don't know shit. That was a 6.
Yeah, no, all you see is like, it's tense. For whatever reason. At this point, without introducing himself, he sucks in through his teeth and goes, I should get going. I've been here too long. I said I'd be here 5 minutes, not 20. To go, you guys settle that wherever you are. You know where we're at? We're at the Angel Tavern right over there. Don't worry about it. Nice mom and pop place. Yes, I have to go. And he just starts between the two of you and just leaves.
After he's left, Cole just... Somehow, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Lysera just eyes him for a moment before shaking her head like, dear God, I follow a bunch of idiots.
Should we get going, or is there anything else that you wanted to ask me before we were...
There's plenty to ask.
That's fair.
The question is some of this going to come back to haunt us later?
You guys? No.
How sure of that are you?
I'm pretty sure they're just mad.
You have a new party. New people with you. Do keep that in mind. Not all of them seem as keen to understanding trouble versus a smiling face. So please tell me simply, will this come to haunt us later?
Like I said, for you, no.
Fair enough.
Me, might get minor bodily harm inflicted upon me.
Minor.
Major if she uses a tail.
No, I need to watch this.
What are you guys doing? You're still in the alley, and Natalie is invisible outside of the alley, really embarrassed. It's been like 10 minutes, Natalie.
Yeah. Natalie's still just waiting there. Still, luckily, invisibility lasts a while.
I'm sure it would be very amusing for you. We should probably go. They're waiting for us.
Agreed.
Russet is still on your shoulder, by the way, Lithera.
Okay.
You just have a glowing parrot.
Worried. Chitter's worriedly at the if she uses a tail part. Wait, what?
It's a
Lithera just reaches up and gently pats Russet on the head, as if don't think too hard about it.
If you would like to watch my potential demise, I should go visit them tomorrow.
I shall join you. If anything else to laugh, or as backup. She huffs, but turns towards the entrance of the alley. Don't forget that, she says it back over her shoulder.
All right, so you guys are heading past the Angel Tavern across the street into the Drunken Wyvern?
As you leave the alley, before the invisibility actually wears off, Russet jumps onto Natalie's shoulder, and yeah, she was right there. Whoops.
It's a good try. It was a good try.
So you probably would have heard most of it anyway, because you're like right there.
Yeah.
You just tried to go invisible.
Sorry about.
Cole just, after seeing Russet jump onto an invisible Natalie, just pats where Natalie's back should be.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, back or front?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, back or front.
Natalie was facing you guys, so.
Let's just say it's a shoulder touch. Let's just say it's a shoulder touch. Let's just say it's a shoulder touch.
Non-magic humans.
Is that an insight check on Cole to see which way he thought was the right way?
Yes, it is. Go for it. Please.
So, am I gonna roll?
Make us roll
yes.
for this.
Okay. Insight.
Someone can roll to try and correct him.
My dice tried to jump off the desk. 15?
Do you want to try and roll to help him, if that's enough?
Oh, no. I'm not rolling to help anything just yet.
Is that enough to actually just pat her on the shoulder?
I think 15. 15 is enough to not make that mistake.
Damn.
All right, so after a bit of fumbling to find where the outline of her person is, you pat her on the shoulder.
Sorry about that. It was went on ahead. I was just trying to make sure you two were all right.
Even with disadvantage, I'm so proud of you. You failed a stealth check even when you had advantage.
I mean, Natalie's a stealth of 0. Natalie's a stealth of 0.
Yeah, fair. So, you guys are heading towards the Drunken Wyvern.
Mm-hmm. Natalie's, for once, leading the way, being the only one who knows the way.
Mm-hmm. So, Neminue, you're with Ryan, and at this point, you've already reached the tavern that you were directed towards by those at the docks. And once you walk inside, there is... It's a pretty... for the name and the definite outline of a wyvern and a mug of ale that's slightly tipped over as its logo, essentially, detailing the Drunken Wyvern. It's much nicer on the inside than the name would imply. It's about, I don't know, dimension. It's probably, I was going to use dimensions, but it's a fairly large space, with 2 stairways on each side leading upstairs. Josh, stop it! I have the Discord open. There's 2 stairs leading up, and there's several, about 7 to 12 tables that are around the establishment with a bar in the back that lines the entire wall until you get to the staircases, with 2 bartenders back there and 3 waitresses running around taking orders or cleaning up. It's fairly full. I'd say about 4 of the tables are completely full, and a couple of other people are sitting at solitary tables, either just by themselves or people that aren't talking amicably or at all. Josh! Stop it!
Continue, please.
There's a very different set of customers here. They all look a bit upper class. Most of them are well dressed with jewelry on their wrists and on their fingers. Some of them look more than shady, but since nobody else is reacting to them, they must either be regulars or they're dressing so that people don't look at them as a noble or higher ranking. You have no idea. But at the back, there are 2 people. One of them is a half-elf man.
I was saying, so basically an atmosphere that in the minuet would be...
Sort of yes, sort of no. But there is a half-elf male at the bar talking to a half-orc gentleman who looks a bit tipsy already, even though it's not all that late in the day. And the other one is a half-orc woman who is busy cleaning up her side of the bar on the right side. The half-elf is on the left side. The waitresses seem preoccupied with their tables, mostly on the left side of the establishment, but there's one that's continuously trying to make sure everything's nice and tidy, cleaned up, and heading to and fro the kitchen area that a couple of others sometimes come out of, and most of the time it stays shut unless someone's ordering. But yeah, you and Ryan walk in, and it's a fairly nice atmosphere. It doesn't seem all that shoddy, fairly upper class like you were told.
Well, I head on over to the bartender and I go, yeah, how much would it cost you to get to your
as you speak,
ale?
As you speak, are you going up to the half elf or the half orc? The half orc woman.
I'm going over to whoever's obviously the bartender.
There's 2. One is the half elf male and the half orc woman. The other one. The half elf male looks busy with the half orc that's tipsy, and the half orc woman who's on the other side is non busy.
I guess I'll talk to the half orc one.
Okay, so you approach the bar, and as you do, she looks up from what she's doing, and there is a series of gashes along her face, as if a bear had completely scratched and scarred her face. And her tusks one of them is slightly broken. It looks like it regrew strange, so it's a bit curved, but they arc a little bit outwards and up towards the upper jaw. And she looks at you and goes, "What can I do you for again?"
She says what?
She's asking you what she can help you with.
I'd like to have 2. How much would it cost for 2 of your cheapest ale?
Cheapest? Are you sure you want the cheapest? Because you could get that just about anywhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, okay. 2 of your weakest ales.
She just stares at you. You get the impression that those are both the same requests.
I'm just trying to be on the nice side this time, since, my companions really don't want me getting into...
I see. She gets what you're trying to imply now and says, I'll get you one of the less troublesome ales. Stardust! She yells across the bar, and the half-elf perks up. I'm sorry, mate. Yeah? I'm going to help out this one, just some ale. Go ahead and take care of the rooms. Yeah, I got you. And he goes back to what he was talking about with the tipsy half-orc on his side. And the lady looks down at you and goes, so, how many rooms are you... Presumably you're staying here, yes? Because most people who walk in here tend to need a room. They don't come in for one drink.
Yes, I figured I figured we could get some room there, and I give her the number of the group and ask for one room for...
For 5. How long are you planning on staying?
Well, it depends on how soon we can check down this.
How long are you staying?
I look at Ryan and say, Ryan, how long do you think it should take us to...
She looks between the both of you, and she's been trying to calculate this in her head, so she's been not interrupting you, mostly out of respect for you talking. Because it's a bit of travel, so I'd say at least a week. A bit of travel from here. At least a week.
All right, how much?
For 5 of you. And, for a week. Just the rooms, not ale and everything included, yeah? That's a different story.
I would say meal.
My headphones are fucking up again. Can you repeat that?
I would say yes.
Nini, I'm having a gastro moment.
Meals included.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Meals included, for a week for 5 people, I'd say that'd run you about 75 gold.
As a group, do we...
You got paid quite a bit. I sure hope you didn't spend that much so quickly. Because I don't... There's not a lot that you could spend it on unless you're Lacera to go broke that quickly.
Don't at me.
I thought I only had 10 gold.
No, you got paid from the queen.
You got paid for surviving. I'm so proud.
It's basically condolence. The condolence pay of don't be mad at us. You got I think I said 2,000. You should have it. I don't know if you spent it on anything. If you did, then you didn't tell me.
2,000 each or 2,000?
2,000 each.
Okay. I hand over the coin.
Mark that off. You're paying for everybody. It sounds like Charlie Brown on my end. Just wah. I'm sorry. I seriously need new headphones.
Yeah, the menu sounds a bit fuzzy on my end, too.
Is Naminue paying for everybody? I just need that confirmation. This is seriously on me. This can't be a recurring problem. Was that a yes or no?
That was a yes.
That was a yes.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. I really am. This isn't intentional. It'll probably be on the recording, and I'll be stupid about it. But it's fine. Just my answer. So you give her the 75 gold. Please mark that down. And she hands each of you. Well, she hands both of you a total of 5 keys, and says, divide them amongst the ones that get here, whichever works. And what type of ale do you want? The weakest?
Yes, the less troublesome.
See, like, it's this brief huff of, like, amusement. He's like, all right. And you? And she looks towards Ray and she's like, I don't drink very often. I'll just have something light. Like, water then. All right, take a seat.
Getting one for me.
I actually got told by Mars that Ryan doesn't drink all that often. So the drunk episode was a rarity.
Okay.
So he tells you to go ahead and take a seat at one of the empty tables or the less occupied tables, because there are people scattered by themselves at the various ones. About 6 that are fully open with about 8 seats, 4 on each side. There's 1 or 2 that's smaller in the corners. You're sitting in the middle of the room, towards the side, in the corner. Where are you guys sitting?
I'm taking the table that has just enough to fit all of our group.
Well, most, if not all, of the tables in the middle and towards the wall are more fitting for tables of 8 to 10. But you get one near the corner that has just enough for all of you in an additional one. And you take a seat there, and really quickly, seemingly because they're used to either a rush or people getting a bit, not fussy, but irritated when their stuff doesn't come out very quickly. So you easily get it's a fairly light brew when you sip it. It's more like a slight fruity alcoholic taste rather than actual hard-hitting liquor. I have not drank in years. You can tell that I haven't. Considering my only drink thus far has been Fireball, we're not going to talk about it.
So basically, I'm getting the Blue Hawaiian of the medieval world.
Pretty much.
What?
Don't ask until you have it.
Fair enough. I'm going to trust you on that. Yes. I'm going to trust Nini on whatever she says is accurate to what I'm trying to describe when it comes to alcohol. It is more of a fruity alcoholic tasting beverage than any, like, hard hitting.
For all intents and purposes, yes, it's a Blue Hawaiian.
Okay. It sounds familiar, and I'm inclined to say yes, but I'm just going to go with it. So
You'll understand once you taste it.
And I have a feeling you're going to make me taste it. At this point, Natalie, Lucera, and Cole, you're walking up to the Drunken Wyvern. And It's a fairly unassuming place on the outside, aside from the logo being quite an interesting design choice. But it doesn't look eye-catching in the slightest for something that should be as upper class as it was described. But once you step inside, the entire atmosphere changes.
It goes from inconspicuous to auspicious.
Yes.
Great.
It's a fairly nice place. And as you walk in, you see to the left near the corner, there's your other two party members, Naminue with a pint of. It can't be heavy ale because it doesn't look as heavy as other ones that have been before. It looks more like, if I could compare how it looks, it'd look more like red wine with a garish. It's like a garish of lemon, that's all it is. It's barely even alcohol that does anything unless you drink too many of them. I like, again, blue Hawaiian, I guess, is what I'm trying to describe. I don't trust you guys. And Ryan is sitting there with a glass of water, who waves you over as soon as you enter. You three also see the people around and the people at the bar. So you give all of them their keys to the rooms?
Yeah.
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 As you sit down, a young human female in a fairly nice dress with a shrug on. It's not like a dress, it's kind of... I can't seem to word on clothes, but I can word on everything else. I'm trying not to give you an opportunity to say Heelys at me, so... I'm trying to avoid it. Because I know you're going to say it as soon as you can. So she's a young human female, looks about in her mid-20s, with wavy black hair down to about her chest area. That most of it's pulled up, but there are strands, probably from rushing around to take care of all of the people currently in the tavern. But it doesn't seem all that helpful with the way she has it put up. Most of her hair is in front of her face. It looks a bit rushed and frenzied, trying to take care of everybody. And she walks up like light blue eyes, tan skin. Looks like she's been on the sea in her younger times. Like, what can I get you? Any food? What type of ale? I'm here to help. She sounds tired.
Some water would be nice, I suppose.
All right, a glass of water for you, miss. And she points to you, Sarah, for telling.
Lithera rubs at her eyes for a moment, just debating. Water, please.
All right, 2 waters. Sir?
Make it 3 waters.
I push the second mug of ale I have over to Cole, and I say, I think maybe you might need this.
So am I getting 3 waters for you? Or would you like something else?
No. I want the same as them, just a water. That's why I was saying make it 3.
All right. She looks between all of you and seems to doubt the idea that you actually want water, but doesn't question it. Goes, I'll be right back. and heads off to the kitchen to grab you some water. It's easy enough to just go back and bring you.
Watch your water.
It's easy enough. She's back in like a minute and gives it to you. She's like, would you like anything to eat? We have several platters for adventurers. There's we've had a couple of people asking for more healthy platters. So we try to accommodate if that's what you're for. Is there something you would like to eat, or are you just passing through for a couple of days? Anything I can get you?
Go ahead and order, guys. I already got us paid up, 4 meals included.
Natalie's waiting for the others to order first.
The waitress is just standing there with, seems like the colors of Waterdeep emblazoned across her left arm, and fairly simple tavern waitress, browns and blacks aside from on her left arm, and it seems as unassuming as possible. From a quick glance, she looks like the new waitress.
What would you suggest?
I should have expected this. I did not. I sent you guys here. Should have had this in advance.
Surprise.
Sure. Well, we have. I personally don't mind the stew that we have here. It's mostly meat and a bit of a special flavoring from our chef. I don't know where he makes it, but fairly nice. There's also a meat platter that's really good. It has a mix of a couple of herbs that I wouldn't suggest having by themselves, to be honest with you. Of course, as for drinks, yeah. Oh, my connection is going wild right now. I don't know if it's affecting how you guys are hearing me, but it is going bonkers.
To me, you do cut out from time to time.
Yeah.
It went from green to red, back to green, yellow, red, green. I'm just like, are you guys good? I'm having a stoplight moment.
Red light, green. Playing red light, green light with your connection.
It's fine now. But holy shit.
It's always fun playing red light green. Or red rover, red rover.
Jesus Christ. Oh, nope, there it goes in. I'm playing stoplight. Give me a second. I want to make sure you guys hear me. Jesus Christ. Hey, I think it's good. We're gonna see. Okay. I say this and immediately it goes down to yellow again. Okay. We're not having a good time with my connection here. Oh boy. So we have a rack of owlbear ribs with a side of various vegetables, fruits if that's what you prefer on your side. There's the He calls it the bone and blood stew. I'm not sure why, because that is most certainly not what it's made out of. But it does taste good. I would recommend trying that out if you want. It's made out of whatever we have on stock for meat. It's chef's choice, essentially. There's also more healthy options where there's more fish involved. There's a couple of appetizers. There's fritters that we have that recently came in from the bakery down the street. I personally haven't tried most of the menu. I'm sorry. I don't really have much to offer you at this moment. She seems really nervous, like she wasn't expecting this or this wasn't told of her because your DM wasn't expecting it, so you just get a nervous waitress. Look, okay, I did this to myself. Be mean to me.
All new waitresses are nervous.
Yep.
You mentioned something from a bakery.
Yes, it's the caramel fritters that we have. They were a popular request by some of the nobles.
Could I get some of that to try?
Of course. Anything else?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay. The other four of you? Grand just gestures to all of you. I'll defer to the group if we're getting something all for us or individually. And then leans forward and goes, I wouldn't mind some of the owlbear ribs, though. Like, got it, honey. The three of you?
The Minuet just waves off food and keeps.
So none for you.
Lythera chuckles as if she's heard this joke before and goes, bone and blood.
All right. She looks at you curiously as you, chuckle before saying it. And looks towards you, Cole.
Of the meat platter.
All right, then. That might take a little while if you're all right with waiting.
That's fine.
All right, then. Enjoy your stay. And heads back into the kitchen to... there's a dying ranger. And she heads back into the kitchen.
Oh, that was not fun.
You're just sitting there waiting currently. There's about 4 full tables on this side, and there's 1 full table on the right side, with a couple of scarce individuals at their own tables. The full ones seem a bit more, not rambunctious, but definitely more talkative. Most of them seem upper class, or the ones that aren't are on the other side of the tavern.
So, Cole and Lythera, have you two been here before? To the city, I mean.
To the city, yes. Though I hardly recognize it anymore. Still the same. Nothing ever changes around here. Not really.
And you, Cole, are you familiar?
I've been to a lot of places. Sometimes they just start to blend in together.
Ryan speaks up now, towards you, Cole, as you say that. What do you mean you've been around a lot of places? Have you been up north for a while?
He just kind of shrugs.
I'm sorry, I heard that entirely wrong. I heard that he's kind of drugs.
No,
Kind of
shrug. Shrug. Like,
Kind of shrug, you know. You see that in the water they put.
they're putting.
Nope.
I can't. No, I can't. We're recording.
I'm sorry.
We're
That broke
recording.
us,
I can't
damn
say
you.
it.
Ryan is just staring at you now, Cole. Mars has already established Ryan has some trust problems. You're
Cole's
getting a
the
squint from a
perfect
dragonborn.
Cole's the perfect person to have trust problems about.
A little bit.
So, have you lived here before or just passed through?
Was it up north that he was living?
What?
Was it up north that he was living?
What he was doing before he met this party, he would have been up north for a while. But not here. He has never lived in Waterdeep, no.
No. Yeah, that's what I thought. No, I haven't lived up here, but before this party got put together, I was hanging around up here, up north.
You say so. Ryan takes a sip of her water. She doesn't seem to believe you. Or at least doesn't trust you. Her passive insight is 17. Reasonably doesn't trust anything.
I'm just gonna say upon I'm just gonna say upon hearing talks about past companions and stuff like that.
We haven't been talking about past companions. Cole only brought up that in the past he stayed up north. Yep. No past companion talk.
Not yet. Not until someone asks him.
It's just a slow.
Just a slow sip of her drink.
No past companion talk until someone asks Cole about it.
So, is there any chance you know the region we're headed to? Like, have you been there before, I mean?
Reminder, you headed towards the Desserin Valley.
Would Cole be familiar with that or no?
I'm sorry, what?
I
almost choked on my drink.
Oh. I said, would Cole be familiar with that or no?
In depth? No. Most people up north are familiar with the Desserin Valley, though. There's an adventuring place. A lot of shit happens there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the most familiar place to him would be Red Larch, just based on the talk about it. before he was born. Other than that, it's just the Desserin Valley. He's familiar with far north, not here. This is more northwestern Faerun.
Around here, not really. I don't know that much. If you were far north or though.
Oh, right then. What? What town do you hail from then?
What?
What city do you come from?
Right, I forget the name.
It depends on if he's going to answer that honestly or not.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't think...
If he wasn't going to answer honestly, you can just say it doesn't matter or whatever city you want. It could be fake.
Naminue's just gonna speak up and go, oh, what's past matter? You know, sometimes it's best to just...
Ryan just slowly looks at you, and Aminio with that look of like, you know when people say weird things out of nowhere with no prompting whatsoever?
Yeah?
And it's just like, okay. Know from experience? Kind of look. You get that from Ryan, but no words.
What was the name of the place though, Roy?
Iressa. IrYsa.
Bressa?
Iressa.
Veressa?
You need me to type it to you?
Yes! I have -5 IQ.
I wouldn't admit to that if I were you.
I send it to you in the private note.
Okay.
Oh my Jesus. My connection went so bad that I sounded like I went into Tron. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I really should talk about things more. Just a small place, Irissa.
Lucera, you have no idea what this place is. As far as you know, it might be just a small town somewhere on the continent. But you, Natalie, Naminue, and Ryan, you all recognize Iressa as an up-and-coming seafaring city in between Waterdeep and Eladina. It's along the trade routes, and people usually stop by there, either by boat or by cart, to like restock or to make trades and make sure that they're topped off. Usually ending up with a fair few friends in the area because the people there are friendly. It's only been around for about 60, 70 years. So the fact that it's gotten so popular is a bit of an abnormality in terms of mostly human and elven culture. You do know, actually, roll history, Natalie and Aminue.
Who and Naminue?
Natalie. I'm rolling for Ryan.
Okay. 2.
Yes.
Alright, it's a modified 20.
I'm rolling really good for Ryan, but I can't fucking roll for my own NPCs. That's fair. What'd you get in a Naminue? A modified 20, a 21, and what'd you get in a Naminue? Not that hard to pick up on, but you still rolled pretty low. Natalie and Ryan, you're also aware, just based on your worldliness and how you've been connected with different types of people, that Eressa lately has been more than a couple of times assaulted and sieged by roving ex-adventurers and heroes by the Kingdom of Eladina, and have become rather fortified and a bit less friendly, a bit more suspicious, but they're still good folk. They've just had a string of bad luck in recent years. Specifically in the past 7 to 10. And this is where Cole has said he's grown up.
Mm.
What? Anything?
Naminiwe would have the vague recollection of, wasn't there something happening in Eressa, but not much, not more than that.
Meanwhile, Lithera just looks confused as fuck.
Yeah, Lithera, you're just like, what the hell? What kind of place is that?
Weird name.
Was it nice while you were there? Unless it was too rude. Sorry.
No, you're fine. It was. No. I'm sure you've heard about the attacks that have gone on there before.
Yes, that's what I was about to ask.
Cole kind of seems a little almost remorseful when he does mention the attacks.
How long ago did you set out from there?
A few years back. That doesn't matter.
It'd be roughly about 5 to 7 years.
Yeah. A few years, it doesn't matter.
Not wrong, I'm just giving you your own timeline because you keep forgetting it.
I'm sure I'm going to forget it the next session, but
yeah, I know. That's why I'm going to remind you, because it is your own history. Ozera looks notably confused about all of this.
Have you not heard of it before, Lithera?
Oh, right.
No, I've never heard of it.
Come back.
Well,
just
I would say that's
you all's
surprising,
reference, for those history-wise that just made the roll, that trade route goes through the western edge of the Cloud Peak mountain range. Something that they know would have happened. There was an outraged mage that destroyed that part of the mountain range and destroyed themselves in the process, but there is a trade route there that allows that trade to happen between those cities. It happened about 95 years ago or so. So that's a bit of explanation there for all of you. You can continue though. I'm just giving you that.
it's just a small little, how do you say, trade setting. At least when I was there, a lot of people stopped off to get supplies and that. Not sure how they're doing too much these days, other than what you hear by word of mouth. I don't really have too much reason to go back.
Yes, as far as I'm aware, the conflict is still going on. Not much changed in the last few years.
Sarah nods slowly, but there's no question that she's still confused as heck. This doesn't sound like anything she's ever heard of before.
In fact, Lysera, the idea of a trade route that allows that so close to the ocean and so close to Waterdeep is already strange, considering, as far as you know, there is a mountain range in the way of that. To everyone else, it sounds normal.
She's just like, what? There's
a mountain in the way.
They used to be.
It's one of those things of the idea of a mountain range trade route isn't all that unheard of, but then again, those peaks tend to have trolls and ogres and orcs, feral orcs around.
Manticores, griffins, things.
So it's more of a worrisome, like, really? Kind of confusion.
Sarah just goes, oh, I hope everybody around there carries swords.
I believe the route is relatively safe these days.
You all watch during the middle of this as Naminue sighs, gets up from the table and walks over to one of the other patrons here, a half-orc male in similar, like, dressed-up nature with green skin and a broken left tusk. Looks like he's deep into a few mugs. And Naminue seems to be questioning him, and he doesn't really seem to get the gist of what's going on. He looks more drunk than able to give any information, sadly.
You all can watch as, like, one of Lysera's eyebrows just slowly inches further and further towards her hairline, because everything that everybody's explaining just sounds odd.
The fun thing is, you guys bought a map.
We did.
That would be an updated map. So I know Lysera's goal-oriented.
Cole's just like,
but that entire area is just fucking weird right there.
She still has her old map. That's the one she knows.
Is that the one she used to point it out?
Yes.
Oh, that means everybody else would have been looking at an outdated map.
Cole's like, something
about this isn't quite right.
Where's my house?
That. Oh.
Because apparently Natalie's the only person who can remember that Lysera is from 100 years ago.
So, you know how that map was made before you came back, right?
Yes, a little hard to miss.
Some things are slightly different.
Should I question this?
Rayanne clears her throat and goes, you might be a little bit out of the loop with some things. It's up to you.
Some locations.
I mean, it's not like cities have moved around or anything, but,
there might be a few places that are questionably in existence. That's your DM saying that I'm still fucking working on the updated map. I'm sorry.
And that, you believe the mountain range would be in the way, right?
A rather dangerous one.
Right. Well, that's no longer in the way.
Now it's both eyebrows.
That's a whole ass mountain. What the fuck?
Where the fuck did the mountain go?
I love Lysera.
Reeling that story of the wizard who made a mountain fuck off.
The actual, it's half a legend, half a myth now, because they're not sure. Scholars really don't want to acknowledge people have that power, but the gist of it is, an archmage who was trying to ascend to lichdom, was trying to show a feat of power to earn the trust of those around him, and spent too much power into ridding an entire part of the mountain range and burned himself up with his own magic, and no one has seen him since. They're not sure if he's dead or actually completed his feat of becoming an absolute being of magic. And as a result, that trade route is available and protected by various adventurers.
Whether natural phenomenon or by magical interference, that route is now open, and a lot more safe than it probably was in your time.
Cole just under his breath. Fucking spellcast.
Lithera looks like she's not certain if she wants to question this or if she knows someone that might have tried such a feat. There's just a good number of questions in her head at the moment.
Natalie, Cole, Nimue, and Ryan, you would all know that most scholars tend to believe that there was just a large battle that happened there between various different arcane sorts against monsters trying to prepare for some sort of siege, and they accidentally caused a shift in the earth itself that took down the mountain and made it able to be crossed through on the ground.
So basically the question is, one caster or many?
It's kind of hard for people to believe, even if people are trying to ascend to lichdom, that they can take out an entire mountain. Yeah. It's a bit fucky. But no one really knows the truth because no one was there. And no one can actually give actual presence to it.
Either way, Cole's right. Fucking spellcast.
Yeah. One way or another, there's a spellcaster involved.
One way or another, fucking spellcasters.
Yep. So, Lithera, this sounds a little bit fucky, but it's not the weirdest thing you've ever heard.
I was about to say.
Something about this seems off, but then again, you weren't there, you can't dispute it. It's kind of like that meme that goes around, just, I don't know enough about this to dispute it, but I don't think that's right. That's kind of how I'm imagining Lithera is feeling right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, I don't know enough about this to dispute it, but that sounds wrong. But yeah, now Lithera knows that there's actually a safe trade route, more or less.
That doesn't sound right, but
route through a spot where there used to be a mountain.
Mm-hmm. There's problems.
About problems.
Would Natalie have mentioned how long ago it happened? Because it was about 95 years ago.
Don't see why not.
So, Lithera, this would ring a little bit too close to home of that's barely any time after you left.
Yep.
So you also have the faint worry of maybe that was an elemental thing, but you're not sure. You weren't there.
So yes, about 5 years after you left.
Lithera takes a deep breath, runs a hand over her head, like, I don't want to think about this, and goes, I need a stiffer drink.
Don't we all? We really shouldn't have gotten water.
Oh, believe me, it's not too late.
I'd say it's about this time that you've been talking long enough with the story and with exchanging information about each other and learning about the new trade route that is in a weird place. That around this time, all of your food comes out, and Lithera, the bone and blood stew, it looks ominous, but at the same time, it's kind of one of those curious moments of this looks horrifying, but at the same time, what's it made out of? You can't really tell. It's a bit of a brackish liquid that's concealing whatever inside.
It's gonna be one of those cases of this looks terrifying, but it tastes so good.
It's like genuinely, all of you get the impression that it's chef's choice because everyone's terrified of the chef.
In other words, Lithera is entertained And just takes a sip.
And Natalie's glad she chose the bakery down the street instead.
Yeah, the caramel fritters are really good. A bit heavy on the caramel, but possibly because most of the people who go here intend on having it more heavy on the caramel because it's ordered that way.
Tweet.
So it's a bit hard to chew, but it's not tasty. It's actually very tasty, but also Jesus. And the both of you get your meat platter, and the alligator ribs go to Rayanne. Sarah, you take a sip of the broth of the stew, and at first it doesn't taste any different than like your average broth. Then you sit there for a moment with that thought of, oh, I thought this would be different. And as soon as you have that thought, there is a slight tingling in the back of your throat and on your tongue. And then it becomes burning. And then even more burning.
Oh, Lord.
It is incredibly spicy and heavy on the redder meats. It's heavy on spices and red meat. Real heavy. It's incredibly spicy. This is dedicated specifically to you, the Cajun.
I was about to say, to have her react the same way. Because huzzah for spices. No one can tell me differently.
So is Sarah having the same reaction you do to any sort of spice?
Ooh, yeah.
Go ahead and describe it, because it's the type of spice that you said, oh, it's making me cry, but I love it type of spice.
Mm-hmm.
It's that.
There's a moment where you're not certain if she's like hollering in pain or if she's hollering in delight. And she just goes, oh, that's spicy. And then continues to eat it.
Brand is just staring at you with that look of, do we have a mad woman in our team?
I can make it less spicy if you want.
Oh no, I love this. And she continues to eat with quite a bit of gusto.
So Sarah, it's actually, for all of the spice that most normal people would say it's a competition to take all of it down, you easily glide through it. You love this. It is as spicy as you could want it.
Well, you do know what they say.
It's very savory, and all of the meat seems to just fall off if you don't have the entire bite in your mouth. It is.
You know what they say. There is some pleasure in pain.
No, you don't understand.
Cole fucking say that aloud?
Yes.
God.
Lythera just looks at him, points at the food, and goes, try it.
Oh, God.
Can Cole handle spice? Is he gonna try it?
Where's my... Sure, Cole will try it.
How does he react to spice?
I feel like I should roll for that.
Tell me what is his spice tolerance, because then I'll tell you if you need a con save.
He can handle.
He lived in a sea city, like a seafaring trade city. I would assume he's used to a good number of spices.
Yeah.
But just for the hell of it, roll a con save. I'm giving it to Lythera because it's Nini, and it's Nini. I've heard her say that before.
Mm-hmm.
It's so spicy. I love it. And then continues eating like a mad woman. I've heard her say it.
It's so yummy. It hurts, but it's so good.
So a con save?
Naminue, that would have, for the good stuff, you would have paid an extra 5 gold for all of you.
Con save, 21.
Yeah, like, you get the same burning sensation. It gets really hot, but either because out of sheer pride or just to spite your own question and the look that Lythera gave you, you just look her dead in the eyes as you take a bite out of the stew, and it burns. it definitely burns. You're used to a lot of spices, but this is some other concoction. And you just stare her down, and for a moment you wince, but you get over it. You're fine.
And then he's like, "Oh shit, that's good."
Lucera nods approvingly and keeps eating. Like, yes, all right.
Ron.
Oh no.
Sarah will remember that. For the good stuff, Diminue?
I'll be right back.
All right.
Yep.
Diminue, are you asking if you need to roll a con save on your 2 mugs of high-end booze?
Yes.
I'd say yeah.
How many?
Just 1.
2 probably.
No. Because we've established you can hold her liquor.
It wouldn't be 3 or 4 rolls?
It's 2 for 1 deal.
Roll for each half mug?
Are you giving the mugs of the good stuff back, or are you telling the bartenders at the front to give the table where your party is?
No, I bought my character 2 mugs of the strong stuff.
Oh, I misunderstood what you said. Okay. Then I would just a couple, just 2.
Okay, just 2 rolls then?
I'd say for these, yes, because they're high end. This is the type of shit that they didn't want you getting into kind of situation. It's one of those.
This is exactly what we were concerned about, that sort of thing.
You guys have been too busy talking to notice that she hasn't come back yet. And then there was like a spice contest over there.
Oh, that's a 10.
It was great.
That's a 10.
17. The first one you down, you feel like you're getting a bit of a wash down, and you're just like, I can handle it. And you throw back the next one, and the first one hits you the moment the second one does, and you are heavily intoxicated. I want you to understand.
My character will probably at this point just be staring moodily at the exits, making sure nobody's coming to make trouble.
I want you to understand this high-end booze that you pay more for per mug has a constitution save of, I believe it was 19.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah, it's specifically made for dwarves.
Awesome.
You're sloshed like hell. You all at this point notice that she's not around, and you don't even have to search for her. She's on the opposite side of the room in the corner at another one, just staring at the way you guys walked in, the only current exit that you can see without making another perception check. She's just staring moodily at the exit. Cole at this point would be about a third through the ladder, and Lucera, at the pace she's eating, probably almost done. Love you, Nene.
It's called spicy stuff. Give it.
Natalie just kind of noticing that she ordered a dessert rather than a meal. Well, casually just sticking a good berry into one of them to make it a meal.
I mean, there.
Tasting the good berry with other things.
Or just when you awkwardly order something that's out of pace for the rest of your party.
Yeah. Making a few extra in case anyone else wants to, just in case.
I actually, Oh, that's 10.
She still loves the dessert, though.
Lucera, as you're eating, actually, both 3 of you actually watch as, like, halfway through eating, her owlbear ribs. You watch as your Dragonborn cleric's face shifts in that expression of, oh no.
Ryan, are you alright?
Lucera would recognize this probably from her old party members that may or may not have had a worse spice tolerance than other people. As the expression of not recognizing, just recognizing the expression of, oh, there was spice in this?
Lucera slowly starts smirking. Like, oh, this will be entertaining. I get front row seats. Yes, good.
You watch as her head slowly ducks down into her robes and just goes... And then looks at you, Lucera, and then straightens herself out and takes another bite. Because she watched you down that entire spicy stew.
Are you alright, Ryan? Natalie will pat her on the shoulder and give her resistance because she doesn't look like she's doing too hot, or is doing too hot is the problem.
She doesn't answer you verbally, she just gives you that quick double nod of just, yep, I'm good. Kind of thing. It's not believable in the slightest. And Lucera is smirking. Takes another bite. I rolled worse.
Add a D4.
I rolled worse.
You can choose to save the D4 otherwise.
I mean, what else am I really going to use it on in the time that guidance is allowed?
I don't know. If you want to make another one.
That was it. Just barely doesn't make it. Just barely. Oh, God. I rolled a 4 on the D4, but it's still not enough.
Oh.
My entertainment value.
Yeah, all of you watch as, you can see, for a second, the guidance actually helps for a second, and then immediately you watch as this heavy dragonborn hand just slams down on the table and goes I can't, with a hand over her mouth. And it's just just the noises that you recognize, Lucera, as I give in, they're too spicy, help me.
I can make it less spicy if you need. And Natalie starts hovering her hand over Ryan's food, just to giving a look to make sure whether it's do you want...
Does Lucera try and take a bite out of that one to see how spicy it is?
She might, but right now I think she's a little too busy cackling.
This is your last chance.
Just to be entertained, she does actually take a bite.
Compared to what you were eating, Lucera, it's not too bad. More of a light spice compared to what you're enjoying currently. But you recognize that for people who don't have spices all that often like this in their food, it's probably pretty hot. It's not too bad. But you're pretty impressed with the bone and blood stew.
Once Lucera's had a bite and Ryan is still just suffering.
But yeah, no, she has straight up tears in her eyes. That was
going to
not great.
Prestidigitation to tone down that spice.
That's an interesting use of prestidigitation.
You can chill, warm, or flavor up to 1 cubic feet of non-living material for 1 hour.
Fair.
Flavor.
Fair enough. So it becomes slightly less spicy, a bit of a tolerable level because it is... Prestidigitation is a cantrip, yeah? Can't do much?
It is, yes.
So it's a little less spicy, a bit more tolerable, and Gran gives you a nod and takes a drink of her water to wash it down. And then, after watching Lucera handle it easily, just puff. And, for a second, you actually do see a bit of smoke come out of her nostrils. Just
It is that breath of the spice.
you don't know.
Both is good.
she's a Tempest Dragonborn, so it's lightning, so you have no idea. It could be smoke from her, or it could be smoke from spice. You have no idea. Regardless, she continues eating her food. I have a feeling Lucera's just gonna love this place's food.
She's far too entertained and far
I want you to
too happy
understand,
to have
I
spices.
specifically designed this ragtag group of a menu specifically with spice in mind, because I actually found my document.
Oh, so it's a good thing the menu I rolled that nat 20.
Well, that's not good. You realize, lady, that would be more of a situation where she would also be staring off into space and glaring at the wall. It's a bit of a not good TM look. That's like the angry version of the shit that Cole just did.
If Cole's not allowed to stare into space, no one is.
Yeah. Get your head in the game. But all of you do at this point actually realize that she's not just staring at the exit. She has a look on her face that's half there and half not. And she looks irritated.
Russet will take a bit from Natalie's plate and rush over to Nimue, standing on the table in front of her.
Nimue, Russet is there with a caramel fritter in his mouth trying to offer it to you. Are you aware of it?
I'll idly start petting the ferret and possibly munching it.
So you, without looking at Russet, you reach out, take the fritter with one hand, and the other hand you slowly pet Russet. But don't say anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Russet does a half chitter, half purr, whatever weasels do in response.
Weasels make a strange noise, I'm pretty sure. It's a weird noise. But
it's
supposed to be comforting.
So.
It's supposed to be comforting. I know it's supposed to be comforting, but it's a little weird. Sounds a little weird. It's not reassuring.
It's weirdly comfortable.
It's a weird noise that would make me uncomfortable, but most noises make me uncomfortable by default.
I'm just going to go to listen now.
Do that afterwards.
No, do it now.
No! Damn you guys!
Volume. Oh, wow.
Yeah, they make weird noises.
It's a weird noise.
So it's like it's like a
low whistle.
It sounds like
a quiet whistle. Yeah.
It sounds like when I go into my sniper, I go in video games.
I don't know how I feel about that. That's a weird one.
Oh.
Weasels make weird sounds, that's all I'm saying. But weasels sound weird, I'm sorry, okay?
They do. Whoops. But yeah, that's the noise you're confronted with.
It's supposed to be comforting. I know that's supposed to be comforting. To weasels it is. To people, that's a weird noise. A strange animal that constantly sounds like it's whistling. But anyway, that's the thing that's happening.
Russet is shaped like a friend.
At this point, your previous waitress, who had been off around closer to the bar area where the tables are, comes over to you and says, "Can I get you anything else?" She looks a little bit more frazzled, like she's dealt with you know the type of customers where it's just impossible not to get, like, you feel like you've had your life essence drained by a several amount. It's like kind of like that.
Yes.
It's that
They
look.
stole your battery.
It's kind of one of those things of, this is my job, I love my job, that kind of thing. Yeah, she has that look on her face like she's super tired, but she's trying to keep up that presentation of, hello, how are you, kind of thing. Can I get you anything else?
No, thank you. Also, tell the chef it's excellent.
Will do. And he looks at the other two. Anything?
That'll bill for me as well.
I'm
Sure.
also fine.
All right, then. I'll go tell the chef. And she heads off to the kitchen again. And then comes back and starts checking up on everybody else. There's a couple of other, there's another waitress and a waiter. A elven male and another human female. They look like they're more talking to themselves and watching the new girl run around. Seems to be her training day. Now that you're looking at it, seems more like she's being trained with this group of customers than anything else. Josh, this is why we can't have nice things.
This is
We
why
could
I
ever have nice things?
Yeah,
What?
we could have nice things.
When does Cole have nice things?
It's around this point that Ryan finishes her food and then like tries to act cool about the fact that she tapped out. Because like she watched Lythera just straight up down that shit. She's like, I'm good. Don't say
He
no.
also wants Cole take the soup, like, no problem.
Cole had a little bit of a problem, but then he was just like, I'm good. Fuck you. Kind of thing. And then there's the natural 7 that I rolled. Did not help. The guidance did not help. I tried. But she has good constitution. It's just hell. Hard to help that.
Cole was caught off guard. I was like, well, fuck you, I'm fine.
Cole temporarily turned into that one ratio scaling gif of just, I'm fine. That's what he turned into. Regardless, Rayanne is now trying to look cool, like she didn't just straight up almost have like a teary fit over the spice, because it's just, our ranger didn't do that. I'm good. I'm chill. So like you can still see the like slight tears in her eyes of trying to deal with it. Just, I'm good. Yeah, Sarah, this was an interesting experience for you. You get to learn a lot about your party members in such a short time. One of them has spice tolerance, the other one has problems with it. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
And we have a dying DM.
I'm
proud of you.
You love me.
Please
Rather
continue.
unfortunately.
Ouch, what did you do?
He's been doing a lot of shit in the past 4 days.
Well, I expect that.
This is just the nail in the coffin. Fuck you, Josh.
I have done nothing wrong.
You have. Don't you lie to
Do I
me.
believe this? No, I do not.
I have done nothing wrong.
I still don't believe this.
Oh, I have a headache. Ooh.
Has someone been laughing too hard?
Shit.
I'll take that as a yes.
I almost choked on my fucking drink again. Shut up.
You're welcome.
Do it again.
Will you get back to your regularly scheduled broadcast in just a second?
Just give it a minute while our, DM dies. Not so slowly. It's fine.
I kid you not, my guys, all right.
Wow. You are dying.
Damn it. I hate my boyfriend.
No,
I hate my boyfriend. I hate my longtime friend. I hate this.
Stop lying. My gosh.
Stop lying.
I'm a habitual liar. Fuck you both.
You love life.
So, does anyone else try to do any investigation before a group goes in for the night?
I mean, it's not very late in the day. About time-wise, I'd say it's early afternoon. So, anyway, stay drunk. Anyway, stay drunk. It's fair, considering what she's thinking about. Oh, my radio.
You okay there?
No.
No?
Oh. It's fine. It's fine. I love you. I do. I also hate you. But it's okay. So, what are you guys doing after eating around lunchtime? Because everything's paid for. Your meals are paid for. Your drinks, however, are not. Probably a smart thing that you ordered water.
Water.
Mm-hmm. Aside from Lysera having a bit of amusement from the cleric having spice issues. Let's go get my snacks. I got my snacks for a reason. I have Reese's cups, by the way. Amy is muted.
Well, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's up to you guys. Are you guys going to go order a card, or are you going to set up shop here, or are you going to wait till tomorrow? What are you guys doing? It's a huge city. Just tell me what you want to do.
You probably should go get a card. We shouldn't wait on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's melting.
Dropping off some of our stuff here, just not carry it around everywhere, might be good.
Possibly.
It also means it's less honest for people to steal in Waterdeep.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. It's Waterdeep.
Yeah, it's Waterdeep. So
they do whatever the right fuck they want.
Possibility of getting stolen while we're not watching it is also there.
Exactly. Like, I wouldn't be so sure about that one. It'll certainly be harder, but it's not possible. I think Nini's having a cat problem.
Rip.
Entile die, be gone. If you hear any crinkling in the background, it's me.
I guess.
So are you guys putting your stuff in your rooms? Because you each have your keys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cole would do that.
Thinking of it now, I'm not sure Natalie would trust it in Waterdeep.
Make sure you know what you have on you. So what are you taking with you?
A question
I keep
like that
everything
makes
on me.
sure.
Delightful. Small tower of anger over there.
Wait a minute. I just realized.
Mhm.
Wait. Never mind.
Okay.
I was thinking, wait a minute. Can I just leave our stuff in the tiny hut? That way it can't get stolen.
That's
But no, I have to be
entirely
within.
on you.
Yeah, I'd have to be within the hut the entire time. So no.
So Cole, Natalie, and Ryan are going to be setting their stuff off. Is Naminue keeping her stuff on her? We'll get no hiccups. We'll get back with Sarah when Amy's not muted.
Well, it's not like Naminue has a bunch.
It's true. She still has coin on her. And this is not a great city. City of Splendors, not a great city.
Well, I guess before heading off, I asked the tavern keeper if I could keep my money in their locker.
Who do you walk up to? Because there's still the two bartenders there.
Which one looks to be more like the...
More like the owner?
Yeah.
Roll insight. At a quick glance, even if you're more than a little tipsy, you easily gather that the half-elf that was talking to the tipsy upper-class orc was the one calling the shots, which is why the woman had briefly mentioned him by name, and his name is Sarnos.
Strono?
Mm-mm. Sarnos Lurenar. I'll send it to you guys.
I heard that far too wrong, so guess what? He's called Di Serono in my head.
I had something in my mouth, so that's fair. I shouldn't have said anything. There's the spelling. His elven names. You're no helpless era.
I head over to the half-elf and go, Sir Sarnos, might I be able to require the service of your...
Of your what? Sorry, repeat that last word for me.
of your luck?
Someone verify for me that she said lockbox or something akin to that, not luck.
Lockbox, yes.
Lockbox.
Okay. Son of a god, Jesus, my headphones. So sorry. He looks down at you, and up close, now that he's actually facing you, you can see an odd patterning along his skin. That's purple and goes and fades as it goes across his face, and it looks kind of like a explosion of paint across his face that doesn't want to wash out. That just fades as it goes like up towards his eyes. He has like faded pinkish. It looks like a mix of green and pink, which is really odd for even half elves or elves in general, but there seems to be a reason behind it. His hair is pulled back into a neat braid, which is light silver. He has a bit purple, bluish skin. Looks moon elven. And he looks at you and goes, box? Why?
Yes, to keep valuables, and I'd like to.
Well, yes, that's how a
leave,
lockbox works. We understand why you need it, but to what extent?
Just to keep my money in until I get back from walking around.
Ah, you're worried about that. I wouldn't worry so much. Just put it in your room and don't try and misplace the key. Or you can give the key to us when you leave, and we'll make sure no one gets into your room.
I nod my head.
For future reference, lockboxes are usually held for magical artifacts of higher nobles, should they not want them to be seen. Money and whatnot can be kept on your own person or in your room. We'll make sure nothing gets stolen. We have a reputation.
I nod my head over to my group and say, well, the fella over there, Sarnos, the tavern keeper, he says we can keep our stuff in our rooms, lock it up, and leave the keys with him, and he'll make sure no one.
Rand slowly nods and goes, that sounds fair. This place is a bit less than trustworthy, but if you trust his word.
Can I roll insight?
You already walked away. You should have done that when you were over there. I'm not going to let you roll a retroactive insight because someone pointed it out. If you would have thought of it, then yes.
Nah, I think she's a little too drunk to think of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Then no, you can't do retroactive insight check.
Oh.
Well, you're the mama here. You're the mama here, so, what you say goes.
Well, me? And Ryan just gestures to her entire self. I think that would be more,
No,
when she gestures towards, Lysera.
Nay.
You're a little bit drunk, though. And you didn't specify as the player which you were talking to. Or I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I didn't specify. I just, my character was being drunk, trying to,
In the future, you need to specify for me. Okay?
Okay.
But she gestures towards Lysera. Like, no offense.
Yeah, she's kind of drunk, so she mistook Ray.
That's quite the mistake you make. That is quite the mistake. That is a dragonborn. Nothing else. But regardless, she gestures towards the stairs like, no offense. I'm pretty sure she's more of the mom here than any of us.
You're not wrong.
All things considered.
Lysera is just going to raise an eyebrow like, what?
No offense, you kind of saved our asses and have been repeatedly. Kind of the mama bird thing you're doing.
You do pretty much guide us by the hand everywhere, if I'm honest.
Lysera sighs and just shakes her head.
DM to player, it's just a moment of, I told myself I wouldn't do this.
Yep.
What did you do? Don't say that. Fran just does that gesture of sorry, but it's true with her hands. For the record, I'm not actually rolling anything if you hear anything supposedly being rolled. My new dice just feel really nice. And from a DM perspective, I realize that sounds real shady. Where is Josh?
What are those dozens of checks that we hear?
I don't know what you hear. Where's Josh? Did he die?
Josh, are you dead?
He might be. I swear to God, if I have to fucking steal him from his friends again, I'm going to apparate directly into their houses. Stop fucking stealing my boyfriend from me. Oh, this has happened for like 3 weeks in a row. It annoys me. Regardless, that's a personal problem. Where the hell is Josh, though? He just disappeared without warning. I'm pretty sure these are metal dice. Where the hell? Apologies to listeners. I seem to be having a disconnect in the party.
Yep.
I can run Rayanne. I'm not running Cole and Rayanne because that seems a bit rude.
Didn't you have to do that on like the first or second or third session?
Precisely my point. I did it once and I was just like, wait a minute. No. Not today. Oh.
I guess, let's say in the meantime, Netlu will go up to her room.
I will say in the meantime that Cole, because of all the things that he's currently been through, and he's been here like less than 3 hours, is going to hide his stuff in his room. Like from a proper standpoint. And then hands his key off to the tavern keep.
Natalie keeps her pack with her, but drops off her armor in her room, which thankfully would have blocked that backpat from earlier. But yes, we'll also hand in the key.
Okay. So what is Lucera doing? Is she keeping all her stuff on her? I ask this fully knowing that she might just keep her bow on her.
Oh, she's gonna keep her bow on her and a couple of daggers, that's for dang sure.
So her bow, her quiver, and a couple of daggers, just in case, yeah? Is everything else being in her room?
She will walk up to the person that she saw Minuet talking to.
The house elven male, about, for elven years, would be about real early young adult. Might be a family business, just by age. And he looks at you and is like, yes? Can I help you with something?
Yes. Can you keep this safe? And she holds out the bag of holding.
He glances at it, and this is now the first time that you're seeing his eyes, and it's like a watercolor mix of pink and green.
Mhm.
You see the purple fading to pink, then fading entirely across his face. Assumedly a scar of some sort. And he goes, and he slowly nods and takes it from you. In the lockbox, I assume?
Yes, sir.
Got it. Ask for it when you need it. And he heads back into a back room with a bag of holding. Awesome. And returns about a minute, 2 minutes later. Says, just call when you need it.
Thank you.
And he returns to making sure everything's situated at the bar. Alrighty then. So, presumably everybody is... Is there anything you guys would like to do? Josh is responding to me.
Like before we go out, or...
What do you guys want to do? I'm considering this space between now to when you wake up next as a sort of free period. If you guys want to explore or try and find a certain thing, let me know.
Well, we are still trying to get that cart.
Are you guys planning on leaving today?
Yeah, we would probably go and...
Right, reserve the cart to use.
Alright.
That would...
I need you to roll investigation.
Roll what?
Investigation.
Yay, this is the thing I'm good at. And I've jinxed it. Double yay.
How many of us?
I'd say all of you for this.
Could I take a self-guidance on that?
If you want to.
Alright. The roll is... Ooh.
Ooh, I don't think a 9.
That is a total of 26.
You didn't even fucking need it. Why would you do that?
It only added 1, but I decided, you know what, it could add 4. So why not?
Why? You had a...
I have a +8 in investigation, but you never know.
Sometimes the soul leaves my body temporarily with the rolls that you think are not high enough to find a fucking cart seller. Okay?
Well, no, you have to cast guidance before you make the check, otherwise you can't use the die, since it's action to use. Yeah.
But like in context, it's not very hard, but okay. You guys do what you want. Anyway, what did you roll?
It's just like the same.
I rolled
9. Is Lucera going with?
Sorry.
No, Lethair is going to investigate around the town a little bit.
For what specifically?
Listening to rumors of things going on. She's trying to learn more of what's going on in the current time. Trying.
We'll get back to you then. Josh is online. Why he's not in the call? I squint. It's happening. One moment, please.
why am I not hearing anyone?
I had to
Because,
talk to Josh for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought for a second my phone was broken again.
No, yours is quiet.
So, firstly, Josh's internet keeps fucking him over.
Oh, okay.
And secondly, I, as DM, don't mind running characters for intermediary purposes, like for traveling and for combat. I don't mind that. I am, out of respect to him, I'm not going to do his story moment until he's better. Because he's also a bit exhausted.
Yeah.
So we can do the intermediary stuff here.
Sounds like a plan.
But once it hits that moment tomorrow, we're going to stop. Okay?
All right.
Okay.
So, Natalie, you watch as Naminue tries to go one direction, and she's a little tipsy, but you and Ryan help her orient herself with Cole's with you, but he seems to be mostly keeping an eye out in case someone tries to steal from one of you. Fully aware of the city that he's in. And you go past the castle ward, and then you go into what it seems the locals call the Sea Ward. And there's more traveling stations here. There's more shops, there's more clothing shops, there's more for healing, for adventurers, especially the further you get toward the entry and exit into the city from the northern side of Waterdeep. You go along a street that's simply labeled Vandal Street, which for a name that ominous, it's fairly nice. There's a couple of buildings that look like they don't belong, but they seem to be like that on purpose. And after asking around when you get there and seeing the gate in the distance, the tower, the walls are pretty tall. So you can at least see them over most of the building, because not most in the city are tall. So when you get close, you ask around a bit for cart rentals, and they show you to a place not too far, about a 15-20 minute walk from the northern gate of Waterdeep. I'm being hailed. I don't want to respond to it. If I don't, they're going to walk in here, though. They seem to have fixed it, though. Don't trust it. There's so many problems happening in this call right now. I keep hearing my name off and on in the background. I'm so glad you guys can't hear it. Anyway. So you approach a shop. It's rather small for a place that apparently helps with renting carts and various means of travel. But for this purpose, you walk in, and it's a place called the Lucky Journey, and underneath in smaller text just expedites the process. Seems a bit more fancy and eye-catching than the actual decoration of the building itself, which is rather mundane for the rest of the places here in the Sea Ward. It's not as fancy as the Castle Ward, but it's still pretty nice. And you walk in, and there is a halfling male, about early to mid-40s, salt and pepper hair, slightly cloudy, dark brown eyes, wearing It looks like he's trying to go for a more bardic inspiration type look, and he notices you come in and says, "Yes, yes. How can I help you? How can I help you now? You're looking for some place to get to? Or is it by escort, or you just need something for a quick jaunt? Can I help?"
Yes, we're looking to, if possible, reserve a cart for a trip in a few days, at most.
A reservation, yes. Of course, I can get that for you. What type are you looking for? Hooded, just a normal cart? Would you like horse with that? Are you going to a specific place? Do you need some escorts of some kind?
All right. Remind me because my notes are lacking and it's been a while. Let's see. How far is where we're going compared to Waterdeep or from Waterdeep?
A great question. I don't have the map up. Nini, would you like to answer that for me? How far is it from Waterdeep to where they're headed?
Oh boy. Part 1. I think a cat stole my map. Hang on. Yeah, he did. God.
He wants your attention.
Ugh.
I think the last time you said it was from Waterdeep, it was supposed to be just shy of a week?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Hmm.
that sounds right, but that it could also be very wrong.
No, that's correct.
And is that a week by foot, by cart, by horseback, by?
That's
What
judging by miles.
What?
That's judging by the amount of miles and what it's considered for foot speed.
So on foot is a week.
I would assume it's on foot by measurement, yeah. Most people
Then
measure by foot. By horseback, just because it's generally faster to go by horseback or to have a horse-drawn cart. I would say it's about 4 days, depending. That's if it's completely unhindered. Ah, no. Don't mind that.
Let's see.
I can't blame things on my cat when they're falling over because he's not in the apartment anymore. As you're trying to figure out how long it takes to get to your destination, because presumably Natalie hasn't been this far north before.
No.
Natalie, Cole, and Ryan all hear their more than slightly intoxicated barbarian friend smile slightly and say, "Oh, so there's such a distinguished, good-looking fellow as you here. How do you do, my dear?" And he just looks over and tilts his head. "I think you need a nap. Wash that off. It's a bit unbecoming of you."
Sorry, she's
Drunk, I know.
we just came from a town. Yeah.
It happens all the time, don't worry about it. So where are you trying to get to?
So, if I remember right, our destination is the Sword Mountains, right? Or was that?
It's the Wyvern
like,
Tour, is where the Sarah had said previously.
Okay.
Is where the bounty is said to be taking place near, towards the Wyvern Tour.
We'll be going to the Wyvern Tour.
Dangerous place you're going to. Are you sure you want to go there? Oh, sure. Seem like mighty fine
yes,
people, but just worth the ask.
Yes, we're actually going to deal with the current issue that's presiding over it.
Everyone's dying.
That would be it, yes.
All right, for that, let's see. Do you want a certain type of cart? Presumably hooded if you're going out that long. Horses?
Hooded would make the most sense, yes. I'm not too certain we'll need horses.
He gives you a strange look. It's one of those looks of odd way of putting it, but magic exists, so fair enough. Kind of look.
And Natalie will tap the shield on her back and say, Druid of Mileki.
Right.
I might be able to just... Some spells to take us as far as we need, I believe. Right
then. So just because you're going on such a dangerous venture, I have no idea if I'll get my cart back down deposit. Let's just say, for the cart itself, just in case I need to replace it. You see him doing calculations by himself. I'd say about 200 gold.
That sounds reasonable enough.
Right then. He gets immediately cheerier. And he holds his hand out for the parent.
And Natalie will take out 20 platinum and hand it over.
He looks at you with an interesting mix of surprise and you know those looks that some people give you when you give them a little bit too much information based on the money that you have on you? It's not like skeevy or anything, it's just like, oh, you have platinum. Interesting kind of look. Like now you're more of an interesting customer.
Natalie just gives a nervous laugh.
You have upgraded yourself to, ooh, I can get commission off of this.
Pretty much. So at that point, he takes the platinum, puts it in a stash, and you hear a bit of jingling under the counter. And then he comes over and says, I'll have it reserved for you for tomorrow. Feel free to stop by whenever.
Thank you. We'll do.
You can just see Cole staring at the halfling as you turn, just with that stare of, it's akin to don't you dare. But Cole is giving the halfling this glare of don't you dare, but there's no reaction from the person running the place. Ryan seems a bit uncomfortable with the unnecessary amount of tension.
That should be all we're here to get, so I suppose we'll be on our way.
So all four of you head out of that. We're going to jump over to you, Lucera. We're probably going to end it after Lucera because 3 of our members are absent, and that's a problem. So Lucera,
we want to leave off here.
Well, it's just rumors. Lucera's the only one looking out for it.
All right.
I need you to roll perception.
Oh, goody.
Because it's not like you're actively walking up to people and asking about rumors. You're just listening in.
21.
Of course it is.
What?
Nothing. There's your good rolls.
Yeah, well.
You're.
Sometime.
Are you staying in the Drunken Wyvern, or are you walking around?
Walking around.
Okay, so as you're walking, you're just a normal, casual jaunt, not attracting too much attention, going with the crowd, blending in as much as possible without actively trying to. You hear bits and pieces of conversation that some of it's normal, like trying to guess which are the nobles of Waterdeep, trying to figure out if this person is that way or if they're actually a criminal trying to pose as noble, or if they're that normal things, because nobody really knows who the nobles of Waterdeep are. The true ones, at least. There's the rich, and then there's the nobles. That much Lysera already knows. Just a guessing game at this point. Then there's the ones about the heroes. And it's a little bit more in depth here about the rumors. Some of them tell of heroes that have become pirates on the Sea of Swords, trying to get more money and more power and more prestige across the way. And then there's talk of breaches into the Feywild that people have stumbled into and out of. There's a few talks of hushed conversation of there being a portal to a deep and dark location somewhere in the City of the Dead, of the graveyard ward, essentially, here in Waterdeep. And then you hear brief little whispers. They sound in the way that they're talking about it, like even they don't believe what they're saying, but there's talks of glimpses of scales, pitch black and wispy at the same time, hopping from place to place, unseen by anybody else. So it's a way of saying it like, I don't believe this, but it's interesting to talk about. And then there's talk of a city up north called Lyrenden, a city of scoundrels and thieves and mercenaries that can be trusted if you have enough money. Of a guild that is still recovering from the murder of their leader in broad daylight. There's talk of a strange type of dragon up north that is protecting small cities. That no one is sure if they're good or bad. They don't quite interact with them enough, and it's too far north to try and go unless there's a reason to. Then there's talk of the Kingdom of Eladina. Worries, mostly, because they trade back and forth. They get a bunch of lands of intrigue items that aren't available in the north from there, so it's worrisome. People who often buy from these merchants are worried that there's something wrong with the kingdom, that the royals are a bit more closed off from recent years, that 20 or 30 years ago it wasn't like this, that the queen there's something wrong with the queen. There's a bit of a whisper here and there that you're not sure if you can believe that the queen is sick, or sometimes you hear that the king is sick, or that there's something wrong with their son. You have never heard of them having a son, so you can't quite believe what they're saying because rumors are common here in Waterdeep. Anything fantastical that catches the ear, that makes people want to pay for a story, it can be heard here. But that's what you hear. Whispers and worries and fantastical jaunts to catch the ear and get people to pay for the rest of the story. You're not sure what you can trust and what you can't.
Alrighty.
Is that all?
The only other thing that she might have been doing while wandering is looking for clothing, warmer clothing.
That's easy enough. There's plenty of clothing shops, and for fine clothes, for fine warm weather clothes at least, which is most of the clothing shops here in the Castle Ward. If you go to places in the Sea Ward or the Trade Ward, it'd be more functional than design-based, but walking around and going from place to place, they all seem as functional as the rest. There's just more flashy design for the castle ward.
Sounds about right.
So if you just want something that's functional and doesn't draw the eye, it'd be more trade ward.
Mm.
What is the Sarah doing for that?
Headed. Actually, I'm half entertained. I kind of want her to fall into one of the castle ward ones, just to be dumb.
Okay. Sure.
Why not? It's not like her cloak doesn't have, raven feather shoulders or anything. It's fine.
I'm actually going to roll a d8 and see which one she falls into.
Oh, good.
Because there's a couple.
Let's do it. Of course, you flashy bastard.
Okay, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Now there's one on here that would basically make her go, why? So...
The goddess still guides her.
Not here, she doesn't. She walks into a clothing shop that's called the Loving Drape. And
I need to stop for a second as Luthera just stares at it for a moment and goes, as long as it's not a rug, and walks through the door.
Inside's particularly fancy. This looks like more of the higher end folks shop, and even those in there are well dressed, well kept, definitely well off in life. And they actually look at you as you walk in because you're a very odd sight. They just watch you as you walk in. It's not like one of those looks of snooty higher end people of just they couldn't possibly have money. They're window shopping. It's just the look of you're an odd sight in a really fancy place, so they're going to look at you. But it is wall to wall in various robes and shirts with all types of filigree, mostly in the colors of Waterdeep, but there are some other colors there and designs and dresses. This looks like where people would go to either attend a gala or a masquerade party. But there are several coats and jackets along the wall as she walks further in. Which are equally gaudy.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm. The cashier is also what looks to be a high elven woman that is not really paying attention to whoever just walked in.
Luthera looks it all over. Can I do a check to see about how expensive this shit is? Is Luthera gonna know how nice the embroidery is? That sort of thing.
You're welcome to roll investigation.
Yay. Let's do it. Thanks, dice. I love you too. That's a 3.
3.
A 3.
All right.
This is what I get.
They look like coats. They look pretty. Everything in here looks really pretty.
Thanks.
You rolled a 3.
I did.
What are you expecting me to say?
My dice apparently don't like being played with by cats. It's fine.
Cursed. Cat curse.
I just saw a paw dart out from under the door that I, locked him in. I think he knows I talked bad about him.
What are you doing?
Checking to see if any of them actually fit my fancy for the most part. Why not be stupid?
Roll perception.
She's not being watched, so might as well. Might as well be entertained by this. That's a 19.
There's your roll.
I switched dice.
Looking around a bit after trying to and failing to determine the expensive properties of this and if it looked nicer than most, you walk over to the proper fur and heavy clothing section, and it's mostly furs, expensive. You run into a lot of beasts. Some of the furs here are difficult to get a hold of, just because of the strength of the enemies involved. But you see a number of them in plain wear and browns and blacks and the typical fanfare for fur coats and jackets. But there is one rack where there's a bunch of differently colored furs, and it seems to be functional from where you're standing, but it also is exceedingly gaudy, with all the sleeves having a bunch of different colored filigree and thick, heavy cuffs that just put on, you realize would probably keep you warm, but also good luck trying to be intimidating in it kind of situation. It's a heavy fur-covered, fur-lined coat with... There's one in the area on the quote-unquote rack of them, I suppose, that is a silvery white with black filigree around the cuffs that leads up to a pale gold up towards the shoulders and neck around what is the hood. And there's one right next to it that is deep black with light gray filigree that is similar to the other one. And then there's jackets with flower designs around the cuffs and around the ends of it that are slightly less heavy and bulky. Most of them follow that pattern of floral or kind of Rococo style filigree on the coats.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
That's kind of what I'm going for.
Adding me there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's what I was going for, but I was just if I say this, Nini's going to yell.
Asshole.
But it's it's a Rococo style design, and then there's floral ones, and then there's some that seem to be designed with other gods and goddesses in mind. There's one with feathers, and there's one with the moon on the back of it, and then there's a couple of ones with hammers, and then some with books and pages all over them. It looks like designed specifically for those who are trying to flaunt their religion and flaunt what they have. It looks functional, but also real gaudy.
That silver one that you talked about.
Yes. Are you picking it up?
She's going to walk up. What?
Is she picking it up?
Yes.
When she picks it up, it is much heavier because from a distance it looks like a jacket, But you pick it up, and it's one of those moments of when you misjudge the weight of something, and you pick it up and goes, whoa, kind of situation. She lurches forward a bit and then gets used to it. And it's pretty hefty. It's definitely a functional winter fur coat, despite its gaudiness. And as you pick it up, part of it was obscured, and the filigree goes up to the back of the neck underneath the hood, and it has different phases of the moon around the neck, instead of the one singular crescent moon on some of the other ones.
Yep. Lucera looks over towards the elf, decidedly not paying any attention to her, and just goes, "Do you have a changing room?"
She looks up at this point, and she now looks a bit confused, because compared to the rest of the people here, you look like bad news. You do. Because you have your hood up, presumably, still.
Mm-hmm.
And you're wearing dark clothing. And you have a mantle of raven feathers. You don't look all that promising. You look suspicious.
Good.
But since you seem to be a paying customer, there's no question. There's just that look of, oh, you exist. And then gestures towards the back area where there is a couple of doors, and there's a glowing light in two of them that's hanging above them in a small lantern, presumably preoccupied. What's up, Arrow? She gestures towards the last one back.
Sarah nods and heads towards it, bringing the jacket with her.
I'm so glad you decided to pick up that one instead of the other 5 silver ones that were there.
And that's all.
Granted, I did spend a bit more time on like 3 of those than the others, but it's fine.
You did.
My fault. So she heads in, and I'm presuming she's taking off the mantle and the hood. That stuff.
Her dear beloved traveling cloak, which has seen far too much use.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So
yes, indeed.
you take off that and you put on the coat, and despite its heaviness, the way that all the fur and fabric is balanced, it feels much lighter than it should. And once you put the hood up, there's a ridiculous moment of I cannot see anything. There is so much fur that it's meant to keep you warm. It's not supposed to let you see anything. There's just so much fur that you'd have to purposefully style the fur every time you use it to get it out of your face for long enough to use it productively. But it does keep you warm. Very warm. And it looks nice too. It's a bit bigger on Lucera because of her figure. It makes her look a bit puffed out because it's mostly fur. Definitely functional. Still looks nice, but also, hi, welcome to fur.
Welcome to my life with fur. With the hood down, is it easy to see, or is it just that thick of fur?
It's really thick fur, but it's one of those moments when you like put on something for the first time and over your head, over your eyes, and it's just like, oh god. And then you move it out of the way, and it's just like, that's more tolerable, but I can still see it in the corners of my vision, kind of thing. So it's not impossible to do. It's just like the first time she puts it on, it's just like, oh fuck. It's like that thing that kids do when they put on one of their parents' hats or like wide brim stuff, and it just goes from sitting on their head to swoosh, kind of engulfing their entire face, kind of thing. Kind of like that.
Okay.
Except she can actually move it away because it's a hood and it's fur. It's an uncomfortable situation for someone who's used to seeing their surroundings. It's not great.
But she's been in a very thick hood for a while now. Let's see. With a nod, she'll remove it and then keep her traveling cloak in hand along with the other coat and head towards the front desk and the lady.
Okay, as you step out in the light above, now you briefly see it go from a bluish purple tint to going out.
Mm-hmm.
You walk over to the counter. It's in the middle of the store, kind of like the mall. It really is. It's a mall shop, except for nobles. And you walk up, and she looks at you and she's like, "So you're buying, yeah? Is it to your fancy?"
Yes, and I had a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way to get this adjusted?
There's always ways to get something adjusted if you have the money for it.
All right. She holds up her traveling cloak. Is there a way I can get these feathers onto their shoulders?
She stares at your cloak. It gives it the once-over of someone who's used to having really well-kept clothes and fancy dress. Gives it that look of, oh dear God. And she gestures towards the feathers and then towards the coat as if in question.
Yes.
Okay. I think you might want to go to a tailor. We can't do that here unless it's magically based, and I don't want to use magic in the store. There are people that might be very sensitive to magic. And you, like,
Sarah
the
raises a brow.
expression, like the way she said it and her expression of, I don't want to go through this, is kind of, it's reminiscent of that look of people who have been around nobility too often, in the way that there's like, I must have it this way right now, but I don't want anybody else to have it, sort of thing. It's reminiscent of that. She just has that look of, I would help you, but they're everybody else. If you want, I can do that. I can do that here for you. I don't mind. I think everyone here is all right with it. Besides, not the worst thing I could handle today. It's been quiet.
All right.
For that coat, for the coat, since you're buying in this together, I would put it at about $750.
Pardon?
$750 gold.
Do you accept trade?
Not usually, but it depends. Why?
I have a few gemstones I could offer.
You see her have this look of, I didn't expect that out of you, mostly because, again, you look a bit odd compared to the rest of the revelry here. But it's not an unpleasant look, it's more, I personally would love that trade. I don't have the authority to say that trade, and the boss is not currently in. Sorry.
Will he be in a little bit later?
Possibly. My shift ends quite soon. Question about those feathers, though. Are they enchanted?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you mind if I check it?
By all means.
And she holds out her hand, and there's a flash of blue energy. Her eyes briefly light up blue. Are you sure? Have you not once checked?
Pardon?
Those feathers, there's divination all over them.
Of course.
Where did you get this?
Oh, I just decided to wear it one night. She smirks to herself.
Is she lying?
I don't believe so.
You just get this squint from the clerk, who then puts her hand back on the counter and goes, I should be here for another hour and a half or so.
All right. Hold on to that coat. I shall be right back.
All right. But yeah, I do make the note that there is divination magic on the feathers.
Oh, believe me, I am. Okay. Yay.
I'm surprised that it hasn't come up sooner.
She's
Sarah
not gonna
accepts
question.
A lot of shit.
She just look. Don't at me.
I'm not adding you. I'm adding Sarah.
Okay. Fine, I hear you. I think I need to stop for the night then.
So we can surmise it as coming back and retrieving it with the proper amount of gold.
Mhm.
Small note for you. Just to end this off, while she is moving the feathers over to the coat, Lysera watches as the feathers almost seem to grow a sense to being moved. And then, in a odd jump of magic, not blue, not purple, not red or anything like that, just stark white, the raven feathers turn stark white and then jump over to the shoulders of the fur coat, which they then turn whitish silver to blend in. But they still have the dark black roots around the middle portion because it's still supposed to be a raven feather. And it seems to be mostly trying to blend in with her choice of wardrobe.
Right.
But it's hard to because of the ravens. It doesn't fully work. And the clerk gives you a very strange look. So make note of divination laced fancy fur coat.
Okay.
Necessary to add that. Love you, Nene.
Love you too. For your note.
Mhm.
The clerk would have seen Lysera's back as she turned to head to get her stuff before she put her cloak back on.
Indeed. She would. She would have seen the symbol, wouldn't she?
Mhm.
To her knowledge, there was no reaction.
Okay.
he was busy.
Right.
Is that all?
That's it.
All right, then.
I will
We'll pick up.
work with you in a minute about what was traded or whatnot.
We'll pick up on actual story bits next week. We can